Hi everybody. So again, this is going to go into the YouTube video. So I've got a max of 10 minutes. So I want to address first of all the necessity of having our 9 play high. That's going to be this one. I didn't write that in order, but I'm just trying to keep track of what I need to talk about. And so we're red. And in the game that we were playing in both teams of futsal, what we found was that the girls teams that we played decided to play a high press. So they're the blue, which means they've marked up man on man to us. And I'm trying to get us in the big field to understand the necessity of the 9 giving us length and letting our midfield control the ball. So here's an example of what happened in the game. Forgive me. That worked. Okay, so the black is the ball, and if our 9 was high in either one of these spots, what that allowed us to be able to do was to roll the ball to this player, and the magnets are pushing each other apart, but roll the ball to this player. The player was often able to just take a slight touch and we were able to connect. Now, that's just actually kind of cool to see. And it requires that the players here and here, the 2 and the 3, come low. If they stay up above that arc, in here and here, you'll notice that that space to touch left and right is somewhat eliminated. We haven't really talked much about that. I'm really focusing on the 9, so that's just a comment. But the 9 did the following quite a lot. The 9 went here, which forces, what's actually happened is we've taken away space. We've made it easier for these 2 to defend these 2 rather than having a one-on-one scenario. So you want this player up here. You want the 9 giving length, because when the 9 comes down, it brings defenders too. And now you have a 2-on-2 in a very tight space, which means if our touch isn't perfect or our touch isn't good, they have an easy time winning the ball. So we want this. We want our 9 high. Now, they will often set on, let me do this, they'll often set in line, so if we roll the ball, they're trying to step in front. Okay, so I'm going to give the ball back to the goalie. And when you see this player step high, what really should happen is this, our attacking player, that's our 6, should leave. And if this player stays, the ball needs to be thrown hard here and bounce before the halfway line, okay? But typically what's happening is the defender's doing this, they're following, okay? And when that occurs, that creates an opportunity for this player to check 2, okay? So this is the check 2 comment. So we call this a wheel, okay? This player wheels out of there. It starts to make this like arcing run, and you get out of that space, and then you have a wheel and a check 2. Now, let me walk through what should happen next. You've created a gap, a moment in time for you to be able to get the ball delivered. Here's the next piece. This player should make a step in. Let me create a gap. A step in and an overlap. The reason that you step in is you force this player to step in. It creates a gap for you to run, and then the ball can get played into there. So if the 9 is on this side, it's this player's overlap, and then this player just tucks under, okay? If the 9 is on this side, then it should be this side running. This player, whoops, mark the magnets, doggone it. It's hard to control without 2 hands. So it's this player who does the step and takes the space. Now, we weren't doing too bad with that. I was pretty pleased with it. Don't have a lot of comments about it. We had plenty of opportunities going forward. My big concern is this, because it applies to the big game. So let me do the following. I'm going to pull these off, clean up my mess, and then we're going to talk about the big game. One of our dilemmas that we face is getting the ball to our 9. And our 9, and we're going to just take one scenario of the 9. In order for us to break out, which is a lot of what's going on in futsal, in order for us to break out, our 9 has to give us length. And let me show you what's going on. Here's their oftentimes 3 backs. And a lot of the teams we play like to play with this 5 midfield. And I'm going to describe it this way. It's a W. And they play with wing players that truly stay wide. Okay? And I'm going to use a yellow marker to represent R9. And I'm going to use, I don't have another blue to deal with, but I'm going to put a dot. So here's where their 9 or 10 will sit. So I'll put their 9 or 10 there. And that's not such the issue, because their 9 or 10, they're centrally located. The issue is R9. And so R9 I'm going to leave, I don't want it yellow, I want it in red. R9's right here. In order for us to break out, we need R9 stressing out their back 3. They're either in here or in this gap, looking, okay? What our 9 is doing, and it's related to that motion when the 9 came back, even with the halfway line in futsal, is the following. Pretend our 2 gets the ball here, which is often the case. Our 9, if they're high, in this space, has pushed the 3 back, and then these 2 have to shift like this, and it creates a 1v1 with the blue and the, or a 1v2 if they shift all the way over. But for now, let's just pretend it's a 1v1, and these guys are in pressure and cover and cover. And that gives us space to attack. Okay. Here, if the 9 pops out, these guys get to collapse and fall, which makes it harder for us to get out. And our 9 pops out. They keep coming down in, which takes away and makes it easier for them to defend. Our 9, really, you see a 1v1 going on. Our 9 should be here, waiting for a touch and what's called a corridor ball. Now, when they get here, when we hit that corridor ball, we will often get support from that player. And this is the hard part. This is where we're young. It's going to take some time. That 9 should lay the ball off and go find the far post. All right. So my rationale for doing this video is I need us to start to recognize the value of the 9 giving length. And there are some just basic principles in soccer, and one of them is giving length. When we have the ball, we want length and we want width. And that's the width comes from the 2 and the 3, and the length comes from the 9. All right. That's it. I apologize. I will upload this and then present it to you guys, and sorry for the poor video quality and so forth, but hopefully it helps. Talk to you guys later.